But the jewel in Luna Park's crown was the Scenic Railway, the first roller coaster built in the Southern Hemisphere. The exhilarating ride passed through the tops of the entrance towers and over the top of Mr. Moon's face, then dipped and curved around the park's triangular boundary. The ride experience was first captured some years later by what might now be called roller coaster cam. Luna Park was closed for most of the First World War, except for some patriotic carnivals. The Palais de Folie was called Maryland during this period. A lease dispute then kept the park closed until October 1923. The reopening saw the refurbishment of existing attractions and the addition of a number of new ones, including a £15,000 carousel acquired from Sydney's White City and adorned with 6,000 lights. A water chute. Noah's Ark. And the Big Dipper, designed by American John A. Miller, known as the master roller coaster designer from the Philadelphia Toboggan Company, which had also supplied the impressive carousel. The opening was preceded by a massive ad campaign, partly aimed at children who were admitted free to Saturday matinees. Only the Scenic Railway and river caves remained much the same as before the war. The continued success of Luna Park depended upon the novelty and public acceptance of new attractions each season, such as the Ghost Train and the Rotor, installed in 1951. The tradition of featuring performing artists and novelty acts to generate interest and publicity was also continued over the years. One of the park opening stunts, for example, was reprised in January 1936 when patrons witnessed another slide for life in which the aerialist hanging by his teeth slid down a wire from the top of the Jack and Jill ride to the Dodgem Pavilion. Less spectacular, but certainly more bizarre, was the Girl in the Ice Coffin novelty act, in which the performer demonstrates how to beat a Melbourne summer heatwave by spending 20 minutes totally encased in hollowed-out blocks of ice. While the Flying Ashtons, Merv and Doug, needed little introduction to Melbourne audiences in the 1960s, their blindfolded trapeze act, performed at night for the newsreel camera with the illuminated river cave's exterior as background, was equally good publicity for Ashton Circus and the Luna Park Company.
He's done it! It takes nerves of steel, but that's just what the Flying Ashtons have got.
For many years, Luna Park had such drawing power that other amusement operators clustered at a busy fun fair nearby, on a triangle of land known as Little Luna Park, leasing sites from the Foreshore Committee. In this bustling corner, the merry-go-round had pride of place. Designed and constructed by Herbert Thompson, the designer of Australia's first steam car, the much-loved carousel was transported to Canberra in the 1970s and still operates in the Civic Mall. The fun fair also had its own Ferris wheel, predating Luna Park's, and variations on the aeroplane ride, including the Wizzy Whirl, the circular chaeroplane spin, which was still busily enticing youngsters for the princely sum of threepence in the 1940s. But if Luna Park itself continued to dominate St Kilda foreshore entertainment, by the late 1950s, its fortunes were in slow decline. With the downturn in business, the park's future looked increasingly grim, especially after demolition of the Big Dipper in 1989. But following the introduction of heritage controls, after persistent lobbying by the Friends of Luna Park group,
we're really concerned that the redevelopment is imaginative and that it recreates Luna Park's essential character, which is of a fantasy landscape.
And the purchase of a 50-year lease of Luna Park by the BCR Group in 1998, its status as a Melbourne icon seemed assured. Importantly, an extensive restoration program has guaranteed new life for the majestic carousel, the entrance face and towers, and the scenic railway, which is now the only still functional roller coaster from the early 20th century and the only surviving example of brakeman-operated carriages in the world. Melbourne's eastern Bayside strip effectively begins at Port Melbourne, with pleasant beaches located on both sides of the port facilities. The area itself developed as a mix of industry and housing, tucked in between the bay and the Yarra River. Some of the earliest surviving film in Australia